Hello everyone. A look today at a rather unusual mechanical pencil I recently found. Unusual here judged by the fact that I've not come across it before or have never heard of it. And this was a surprise find in one of those bags of thrift store pencils that I share so frequently on this channel. In fact, it was this bag right here. And there's a few other interesting things, somewhat interesting things in here that I may get to at some point. But the real prize in that bag was this. I could see it obviously through the transparent baggie, so it wasn't a surprise prior to or after purchase. Yeah, you see what I'm saying. I knew what I was buying because I could read it through there. What we have here is the Pentel Excalibur. I will put a still in there because my camera's going to have a hard time there. Pentel 0.7 Japan. And we've got I believe that is supposed to represent a crown or maybe the hilt of a sword, possibly. Very unique design. It's almost a court jester's hat with a glossy, it's like a brushed finish, brushed stainless, I'm not sure. The finish is making it difficult for my camera, but very interesting. From what I could tell, these were made not for a very long time, made by Pentel in Japan, and sometime in the 80s, it appears. And there was a commemorative set for I think it was the 1984 Olympics that included an Excalibur mechanical pencil and pen. And it seems these were most often sold in a set with a matching, presumably ballpoint pen, I assume. But much like in the US in the 80s, you would have seen lots of cross pen and pencil sets that were very popular to give as graduation gifts and the like. This was a similar sort of setup, but from what I read online, a very fine and sought-after Pentel mechanical pencil. And this appears to be all metal all the way through, all parts from what I can tell. So you see that it is a brushed stainless look here. It's in 0.7. It's a click mechanism and a very refined click as one expects from Pentel. Let's begin to take it apart here. The cap comes off to show the older, more vintage green eraser, which I prefer, and as you can see here, not much of it has been used. So I assume this probably sat in somebody's desk. Hopefully these parts don't roll away, making it difficult to put together again. Okay, so... Okay. Take the nose cone off. And you see the brass. You know this is a fine instrument. This part is metal. The compression ring is metal, brass. The tricuspid clutch there is brass. And let's keep going. Brass threading on the end of that mechanism. Brass threading here. Metal tube all the way through. And metal all the way through here. That appears to be brass, that fitting as well. So I don't see any plastic on this at all. This kind of free spinning gear shaped midsection is kind of cool. See if I can put it all back together without any breakage. So very excited about that find in that bundle of pencils, which of course now my promise to stop bringing home those bundles of thrift shop pens and pencils this really makes it challenging, because when you're rewarded with a unique and desirable pencil like this, whoop, can't see what I'm doing. That makes it more likely that I will continue. Fits together. The fit and finish is just exquisite. Can I say that about a pencil? Beautiful pencil. Let's compare it with some familiar Pentel varieties. The P205, the P200 series. This one is shorter than the P200 pencils. Looks like about 5 inches, almost exactly on the Excalibur. It's interesting. Does Japan not have their own sword fighting? There's, martial swordsman type culture they could have used as a name. I'm assuming made mainly for export, because, well, it's neither here nor there. 5.5 inches on the P205 and every other P200 pencil. There's a Forte, 5 3/8. So kind of a short pencil. It reminds me a little bit of the Cross pencils, which frankly I never cared for the Cross mechanical pencils and pens. This appears to be a little bit girthier maybe, and the shape is more pleasing. The Cross pencils were very narrow and straight, top to bottom, uninterrupted straight line almost. I don't have one of those handy nearby to show, but you're probably all familiar with Cross and their pens and pencils. Guess we'll try it out. Presumably this, since the eraser was hardly used, the lead is probably, the graphite is probably Pentel from, and oh, by the way, I'm all over the place in this review, aren't I? This came with some erasers. I assume that eraser would, it looks like it's the same eraser refill, although these are white, more recent. And I think there's some graphite in here too. Oh no, that's 0.5. Okay. All right. But some Pentel erasers in there as well. If it doesn't fit this particular Pentel, it'll fit some other Pentel. Nothing particularly exciting about the graphite. In fact, I think it's harder than average. This might be an H graphite as well. $1 for this bag of pens and pencils. Probably worth it just for that F301 in there, and maybe we'll look at that in a future video. Probably worth it just for the extra erasers for my other Pentels, or this Sharpie S Gel, assuming it has ink in it. But the real prize, pretty stoked to see that in there. If you have any experience with the Pentel Excalibur, I would love to hear about it. I was completely unfamiliar prior to seeing this in that grab bag. Happy I brought it home. The Pentel Excalibur in a 0.7. I think that's the only size they made it in. Thanks for watching this pencil video. Hope to see you here again next time.